Okay, we have to talk about this whole Declan Rice controversial red card situation. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yesterday's video is going to centre around Declan Rice and the controversial red card that was given to the England midfielder in yesterday's 1-1 draw that played out at the Emirates Stadium between Arsenal and Brighton. Rice picked up a red card for the first time in his professional career, following a second bookable offence that occurred in the second half, where he was judged to have been time wasting and delaying the restart of play by kicking the ball away from a Brighton free kick. This left a lot of Arsenal fans angry. This left a lot of Arsenal fans fuming at the referee for giving such an action. And ultimately it did see Arsenal, who were 1-0 up at the time, go on to draw that game. And a lot of Arsenal fans are seeing that as 2 points loss. And that is obviously a lot of anger and a lot of frustration blown towards the referee from those Arsenal faithful. Was it the correct decision, or was it extremely controversial? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be reviewing and recapping the incident. We're going to be talking about it and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both ones always and very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. It's quite a debatable and controversial topic, so I do want to get your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this, because I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading. So use and abuse that comment section. People, talk to me on this. Would love to hear what you have to say on whether or not you agree or disagree with what the referee did in this game. Without further ado, let's go on with the video. Let's talk the Declan Rice controversy. So for those of you who haven't seen it, basically yesterday Arsenal and Brighton played out a 1-1 draw at the Emirates Stadium, but the game was shrouded in controversy following the red card that Declan Rice received in the second half, mere minutes after the interval, for a second bookable offence. The incident in question was that already on a yellow card, Declan Rice is judged to have fouled Joel Veltman of Brighton. Nothing doing there, but as Veltman tries to take a quick free kick, Rice is very clever in the way that he just sort of kicks the ball away to delay a fast restart. He does it intentionally. He tries to do it on the sly. He tries to do it so like he's not really paying attention, and then just sort of has a little cheeky side look and then taps the ball away. Veltman, as he's going to kick the ball straight away, then whacks Rice, because obviously the ball's been kicked away just as he's about to kick the ball himself. Rice takes a hit, and then as he gets up, the referee gives him a second yellow card and therefore a red card, and Arsenal fans are absolutely fuming at this. Of course, for a second yellow card offence, there is no need for VAR to interfere. It's purely based on the on-field referee's decision. He's decided to give him a second yellow, and it now means that not only did Arsenal go on and drop points in this game, but they will also be missing Declan Rice for the game against Tottenham in the North London derby after the international break. So it's double jeopardy as far as what Arsenal are concerned, but a massive boost to Tottenham when, of course, club football does resume after the international break. The main bulk of this video does stem from me trying to be as consistent as possible when it comes to these situations. I've been trying to call out referees for a long time now, and VAR as well. But of course, with there being no VAR decision here, we can't obviously go to VAR on this one. And I've got to say, as harsh as this may be, if we are to go by the letter of the law, this was the right decision taken by the referee here. This was the right decision taken by the referee here. If we are to go by the current laws and rules and by the letters of the law of the game, this was the right call by the referee to give Rice a second yellow card and therefore a red card. Delaying restarts, time wasting of any kind, anything in that kind of area of the rules and regulations is now punishable by being booked. Rice was already on a yellow card. Therefore, he got another yellow card to result in a red card. Now, I've seen some people try to combat this with, oh, the ball was moving when Veltman tried to take the free kick, which it was. I'm not going to try and deny that. It obviously was moving. But I think in that situation, if you're Declan Rice and you're already on a yellow card, you just let Veltman kick the ball whilst the ball is moving. And if the referee is on his game and if he is paying attention, the referee simply goes, hang on a minute, the ball was moving, play it back, take it back, and the free kick gets taken again. Rice gets back into position, he doesn't get sent off, he doesn't give the referee a choice to be made in that situation, and Arsenal play on 11v11, and they probably go out and see out the win, in all honesty. I know that Brighton had their chances, I know that Brighton still had chances even when it was 11v11, but I still think that maybe Arsenal would have enough about them to get the job done whilst the game was 11v11. Now, the fact is, as harsh as it may be, I understand the harshness. I understand it's one of those decisions where rival fans were probably excited about Arsenal dropping points. They were probably happy with Arsenal dropping points yesterday, even if it did mean that there was a very big element of controversy surrounding it. The fact is that if this happens to your own team, you're of course angry and frustrated, and you don't quite get it. If this happens to a rival team, like I say, you are probably happy and excited by the prospect of it happening to a rival fan. It's just the way that kind of football goes. But I have to admit, from the outside looking in, and from a rival's perspective, as much as I do think it was the right decision by the referee, I still think it was extremely harsh. I still think it was a very controversial thing that, in all honesty, if Rice didn't get sent off for it, I still wouldn't be complaining or wouldn't be as angry about it. But I don't know. It's one of those that I've seen given and seen not given. And that kind of ties into the whole controversial element for me. It's not so much that this is controversial in the sense of Declan Rice being given a red card, because I've seen cards be given for this kind of thing across, not just this season, even if we are 3 games in, but across last season as well. The fact is that this is extremely controversial in the fact that it's inconsistent. Referees use these laws and things inconsistently. Now, I personally think Declan Rice in this situation shouldn't be so stupid to do it. Like I say, it does seem intentional what he does. He doesn't exactly whack it into row Z, but at the same time, he just taps it enough for the ball to travel out of the reach of the defender who's trying to take the free kick, out of play, and delays a restart. If you're Declan Rice in that situation and you're already on a yellow card, don't give the referee a choice to make. We already know that they're bad. We already know that they are inconsistent and awkward with these kind of decisions. So don't be surprised if something does go against you like this, because we know the referees are not exactly the best in this country. Don't give him a choice to make. But the whole element of controversy to me is because these types of rules are dished out inconsistently. I could go through a number of examples of last season, and believe me, if you go through my Liverpool match reactions, you will know that there are a number of inconsistencies where referees are seeing players throw the ball in the air, seeing players kick the ball away, seeing players argue with referees, surround referees, slam the ball into the ground, whatever it may be, to try and time waste or to try and argue with the authority figures of the game, and they don't get booked for it. But yet the same examples will happen in another game, and they will get booked for it. So this is on the referees, really. This has nothing to do with, obviously, Rice getting a red card, which I think, again, I kind of agree with. This has to do with the inconsistent laws of the inconsistent enforcement of the laws of the game in these types of rules and regulations. That's all there is here, because in the same game, João Pedro literally whacks the ball into row Z after the ball has already gone out for a throw-in, and nothing gets done about it. There's no talking to, there is no yellow card, there is nothing. And I think, I could be wrong in saying this, but I think certain Arsenal fans don't necessarily disagree with the red card. They understand it's a law of the game, and maybe it's stupid on Declan Rice's part that he did such a thing, but it's the inconsistency of how that law is brought into effect within the game. If João Pedro gets a yellow card in that situation, you can't argue that Rice shouldn't have got booked for what he did. Even though it probably wasn't as effective as what Pedro did in whacking it into Rosed, the ref there has got one right and one wrong. There is no consistency there whatsoever. And the second part of this that I find extremely controversial is the fact that last season, the PGMOL and Howard Webb in particular constantly said that they try and keep it 11v11 at all times. They don't try. They try to play and understand the occasion. They don't want to try and send people off for the sake of sending people off. They try and keep it 11v11. Now, I've said time and time again that I think that's wrong, and I think if someone has to go, they have to go. And that, in this situation, is here. I'm not going to try and backtrack on that. I'm not going to try and be hypocritical on that point. Rice had to go because he broke the law of the game, and therefore it was right to do so. However, in saying that, on some level, I can understand there being a need and a call for clear heads, for a better understanding of the game. If the referee had just gone over and gone, you know what? I know what you did there, but I didn't book João Pedro earlier. Just don't do it again. You're walking a fine line. You're already on a yellow card. You're already on a tightrope. Don't do that again. And as for you, I saw the ball was moving. You did whack him a bit. I'm calling it now. You're both on fine warnings. That would have also been substantial in my mind. That would have also been a fair way to approach and deal with that particular issue. But he didn't. He was very trigger happy with the card, and I don't know. I understand the controversy surrounding it. I understand the controversial elements surrounding it, but I'm just I fully get the referee's decision. But like I say, I think it's just about it's just that consistency, and these refs are not consistent, because I guarantee you yesterday there was probably a similar incident like this that not only just happened in the Arsenal game, like I say, with João Pedro, but it probably happened in another game later on down the line. It probably happened in either like the Aston Villa game that happened yesterday, maybe even the Man City West Ham game, maybe even something like the Nottingham Forest Wolverhampton Wanderers game. Maybe something happens similar in that game that won't quite get the attention it deserves. But it was probably something similar that the referees didn't book, and it probably will happen today later on in the games that are set to be played between, Chelsea and Crystal Palace, or Newcastle Tottenham, or Liverpool Manchester United. It might happen again later on today. It's again another poor example of referees being inconsistent, referees being so awkward about their enforcement of certain rules, and this is what creates the controversy, and this is why Arsenal fans are fuming, and this is why Arsenal fans think there is something going on against them, because it always seems to be Arsenal in this situation. Now, I'm not calling a massive witch hunt, I'm not saying it is, but because these things do happen to every team, but because Arsenal are a bigger team than most, because Arsenal are one of the bigger teams in the Premier League, and because Arsenal are obviously seen as being the biggest challengers to Manchester City this season, this is why the spotlight will be thrown on them, and this is why the conversation will be twisted into it being extremely harsh. The conversation here should be Arsenal drop 2 points, Arsenal draw with Brighton. Brighton have performed very well at the start of this season and performed pretty well in this game, in all honesty. And Declan Rice was stupid to give the referee a decision. But referees need to be consistent on these things. Referees need to start booking these players on a more regular basis, if that is the letter of the law by its punishment. They need to be consistent on this. But as I say, I have no issue with Declan Rice being sent off yesterday. I just have issue with the fact that these referees are not consistent enough when it comes to these type of things. João Pedro should have been booked yesterday. There are probably other examples that you can do, not just from the first few games of this season, but from obviously across the entirety of last season, in which players should have got booked, maybe even second bookable offences for sendings off. And then, of course, you've got the PGMOL and Howard Webb coming out and saying, we tried to keep it 11v11 as possible. We tried to play the game and not the occasion. We tried to keep a clear and calm head about these things. We don't try and go overboard or micromanage the game. Whatever the case may be, it just seems very, very strange to me. And you've got to either pick one lane or the other. You can't just be riding on both and go down one when you feel like it and go down the other when you feel like it. So that's just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the whole Declan Rice red card situation of yesterday? Do you think it was the right call by the referee? Do you think it was the wrong call? And what do you make of it overall in general? What do you make of the game? What do you make of Arsenal, Brighton, and of course mainly the sending off? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. Down below in the comment section. Use and abuse that comment section, people. Talk to me on this. Would love to hear what you have to say on this particular controversial topic. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'm going to speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.